Hey guys, how's it going? And happy Friday. I hope all of you are doing good. There's a few things I want to talk about tonight. First of all, it's election season, and whether we want it to be or not, and trust me, I don't want the Second Amendment to be on the ballot. Our natural rights that are endowed by our Creator are certain unalienable rights, as Thomas Jefferson so eloquently wrote July 4th, 1776, shouldn't be on the ballot. They shouldn't be up for vote. In fact, I think politics are actually mainly disgusting, and most people who engage in them, most politicians, are completely and utterly abhorrent and disgusting. However, whether you like it or not, or whether I like it or not, it's election season, and the Second Amendment is on the ballot. And there are some good representatives, and there are some good senators. Look, we need to focus on the state and local government. Look at my state of Michigan, for example. Completely tumultuous. The Democrats taking over the governorship, the Secretary of State, the Attorney General, the Supreme Court's gone liberal, and then the Michigan House of Representatives. The Democrats hold by a narrow 2-seat majority. Also, the Michigan Senate, same exact dynamic, 2 seats in favor of the Democrats, and our state is literally like going to hell right now. And they're after the Second Amendment, like they never, ever, ever have been before. And I know some of you live in Michigan, and shout out if you do, but a lot of you don't. But here's the thing, the Second Amendment is on the ballot everywhere. And this is a culture war. And it's kind of crazy when you look at some of these tyrannical leaders who want to rule outside of the rule of law, that don't take their oath seriously, that literally just spat on the Constitution, the state's constitutions, the Constitution of the United States, and the Bill of Rights. And then you look at their followers and you realize we kind of get the government that we deserve, because there's some nasty, nasty people out there that literally hate the Constitution. And particularly, they're after the Second Amendment again. There was a tragedy in Georgia, and that's got them all spooled up again and riled up again. So I'm going to do something that's a little change of pace tonight. I'm going to share some stuff that's going on over on X. So make sure you guys are following 2AEDU on X. And I'm going to show you some stuff going on. And I'm going to show you an awesome state representative. Many people say probably the best state representative out there anywhere. And I completely agree with that. And then we're going to look at some discourse between her. Her name's Jamie Thompson. She's my state representative, and I'm very, very lucky that she's representing the 28th District of Michigan. And then we're going to see some senators. Yeah, not so much. These are not good ones, in my opinion. And we're going to look at that in just a second here. Also, I want to say this show is sponsored by Russia, specifically Mikhail Kalashnikov. See? He sent this pure steel with a very, very light plating, okay, of brass on the outside of it. And yeah. No, this show is sponsored by all of you. And I'd like to thank all of you for the many ways you help support the channel. Those of you who are channel members here on YouTube, thank you so much. You guys get access to extra emojis in the chat, by the way, and bonus content. Same thing as those of you who leave generous super chats. That's my version of an ad read on this channel. And we have no outside Russian influence here. And that's cool, because we get to talk about whatever we want to talk about. Of course, we're influenced by the YouTube algorithms, and I don't think they like this stream too much tonight. So don't forget to like, share, hit that thumbs up button, all of that, because I had a funny feeling when I said the senators that are not so bright. Look, it's Susan Wiki. She was the head of YouTube. She's passed away, but now it's her ghost that's still haunting this channel. I'd like to also thank all of you who support on Patreon, as well as Locals, which is a different site, censorship free. I'm going to be doing a live stream where I can actually touch guns and do all kinds of extra stuff that we just can't do on live streams on YouTube tomorrow night over on Locals, and that green site that they don't care for too much. But the link for that one, it's a sister company to Locals, is down in the description as well. So make sure you're following me on all these different alternate sites, as well as on Myriad Social, link for that's in the description. That's a newer social media site that's not only censorship free, but uncensorable, meaning it's on the blockchain. There's also some awesome deals down there in the description. Make sure you guys go over to my locals tonight after the stream and check out RPM. That's Rockville Precision Munitions. They're located in Middle Tennessee. And I'll tell you what, man, just their regular old plinking 9mm is really, really nice stuff. Very spicy. And I've actually done a couple little bonus videos shooting some of this on Locals and Rumble. So if you're not following me there, make sure you guys are, for tons of extra content. Like, that's where the majority of my gun content is now. I am going to get some gun reviews on YouTube here soon, but I've been doing it over there because we can do whatever we want. And, well, YouTube just keeps changing policies so fast, it's hard to keep track of. Also, Blackout Coffee. That's a company that is not woke, owned by patriots who are staunch supporters of the Second Amendment. I have a link down there. So if you're a regular customer, it's in the description. If you're a regular customer of Blackout, hey, if you don't mind spending 2 seconds, use my link before you make your normal purchases. It does help the channel like crazy, and that means you guys, again, are my sponsors. See, Blackout Coffee doesn't write me a check or pay me. I just get a small percentage if you guys make a purchase, and there's an awesome 20% off one-time coupon code for Blackout. You can use it one time per account that you're logged into with them, and definitely check that out and share that code with your friends and family as well. Also, JM4 Tactical makes awesome leather magnetic retention holsters, okay? We can show you more tomorrow night in the stream on Locals and Rumble, but this holster is awesome. It houses my Taurus GX4. They still have a 20% off sale going on. I left that link down in the description. And one more deal that I'd like to share with you guys. And like I said, none of these guys pay the channel a penny, I promise you. But if you use my links, then it helps the channel. Also, check out my links for awesome deals over on Locals, X, and Myriad. 20% off of these Infinity self-healing targets. Great discount. Well, you can obviously see I've used mine, and I definitely recommend. Also, I don't know, did anybody get the reference when I said this show sponsored by Russia, with the sponsor being Mikhail Kalashnikov? Totally joking, of course, obviously. Joking YouTube, joking Fed Boy. But does anybody get the reference there? I see someone's checking in from the Palmetto State. And I just say that real quick because I saw it out of the corner of my eye. And I will read all the super chats, guys, because they notify me with a special star. And I will check all of these chats on replay. So any chats I missed, I will get later. And I'm going to try my best in a little bit less than a month from now to visit the Palmetto State, the beautiful state of South Carolina. So keep up the good fight down there. All right. So maybe all of you guys have been living under a rock, because nobody got the reference when I said this stream is sponsored by Mikhail Kalashnikov. Invented the Kalash in 1947. Passed away, geez, over a dozen years ago now, I'd say. JR says Russian disinformation against this election. Well, yeah, that's what they're going to say. And here's the latest. Here's the latest of the Russia hoax. Remember that? Russia. They had the Mueller investigation and found out there was no collusion with Russia at all. Trump was impeached twice and was acquitted both times on all counts. There's a social media site. I'm going to go over this first, then we'll get into the Twitter stuff. There's a social media site that developed about a year ago. It's called Tenant Media. Apparently nobody's heard of it, but I want to discuss it because of particularly one person, but I'll give you guys the 40,000-foot overview, and you guys can look into this whole thing if you want, because there's a lot to it. It involves Lauren Chin, allegedly, and her husband saying we want to start a new social media company, right? And they formed a channel on YouTube called Tenant Media. They have the likes of Tim Pool, and I have to watch how I say this. I think the content was licensed to be posted on Tenet, published, licensed, not a lawyer, just giving you guys the real quick 40,000-foot version. And all of this is in my opinion and as I understand it. But Tim Pool was on Tenet, Benny Johnson, Lauren Southern, Who else? Several people, okay? Some of them a little bit more famous than others. The big ones right now that are, catching most of the heat would be Tim Pool and Benny Johnson, because they have millions and millions of subscribers. Okay. Another one is a guy by the name of Matt Christiansen. The link to his channel should be in the title here that you can click on after the stream's over. Now, I'm going to talk about him just a little bit, okay? And nothing bad, actually. I want to stand up for him because this is a small channel, and I know my influence isn't very far, but I want to stand up for what I believe is right. So there was recently just an indictment by the DOJ. They have indicted Tenant Media because allegedly, look, these are allegations. That's what an indictment is. Does anybody know about this story? Anyways, there was an indictment where they said that there were 2 Russians that were actually funding this Tenant Media. That's what the DOJ is alleging, saying that they funneled money through straw companies, through other countries, till it finally made its way to a place called Tenant Media, which I believe is or was, because I'm not sure if it's still operating or not, located in the state of Tennessee. And from what I understand, listening to the creators that have been creating on there, these are people with big platforms outside of this Tenant Media. We're just like licensing their content and basically taking content that they had already been posting to their own channels, not changing anything that they ever did, and just posting it to this site, obviously in exchange for some type of compensation. Well, one of the people that I'll just say is kind of caught up in this, he's not been indicted, but his name's on there. And in fact, they're saying these influencers or content creators are victims. That's what the Department of Justice, that's how they're characterizing it in their new indictment. As far as I know right now, the only ones that have been indicted is these 2 supposedly Russians. And what they're saying is it was for them to try to plant the seeds of what Russia would like influencers to portray to the public. This is all alleged by the DOJ. It's a big, long thing if you guys want to Google it and actually read the details of this indictment. So from what I understand, Lauren Chen, I don't know if you guys have heard of her, had invited these influencers, or we'll say content creators, I like that word better, content creators, to publish the Tenet or to license their content, however you want to word it, and would pay them a certain amount of money. It says in the indictment what one of the content creators was getting paid. I don't think it would be fair to assume that all of them are getting paid that much, but one of the bigger influencers, they were saying, was getting paid like $100,000 an episode, which may be fair market value for that. I just don't know. So to bring it around, Matt Christiansen is one of the content creators, and I think he has a great channel. I recommend his channel a lot. I think he's an awesome dude. And he's actually been a guest on this channel twice. He was a guest on the 2A EDU live stream, both in 2020, right at the height of the Flugaloo, and he came back again in 2022. So if you guys want to go down memory hole, you can go search my channel for Matt Christiansen, and you'll see the couple times that he was the guest right here with all of us. And maybe some of you guys remember those streams. Again, I want to make it perfectly clear. He's not been indicted. I hope he isn't, and I don't think that he will be. But you don't know nowadays. Who knows? But he is part of the Tenant Media group insofar as he was a content creator that posted content or licensed his content. I know semantically these words all mean different things, but basically his content was on Tenant Media. Now, he also has said, he and some of the other content creators have said nobody ever even once from Tenant Media told them that they had to speak a certain way, that they had to express certain ideas. And I believe him in that, because I started watching, he has a live stream every week that he posts on YouTube, and he started posting his weekly video to Tenant Media per the agreement that he had with them. The way I understand it is, he thought he was working for, if you will, Lauren Chen. Did Lauren Chen lie to the content creators? Maybe, but I'm not accusing her of that. I have no idea. I don't know how much she knew. I don't know, there's still a lot that's going to come out. I don't even know if these allegations are true. Look, this is an indictment by the FBI. How many of you guys trust the FBI? Let me know if anybody does, but I'm guessing it's probably not too many. So, Matt Christiansen, are we best friends? No. Do we talk all the time? No, but I've been watching his channel for years and years. He's been on this channel twice, and I believe him. I believe everything that he says, that he just had a business opportunity where he was licensing or posting his content to this Tenet media from somebody working for, presumably, somebody who was a well-known influencer in the conservative space for a long time. Now, Matt is not a two-way channel per se. However, he does lots of Second Amendment content. He's done some really, really awesome pieces before, just shredding a lot of the anti-two-way narrative. And he's a staunch defender of the Second Amendment. He's a huge gun nut himself, and definitely part of our community as far as that goes. So maybe this is something that the two-way community has no idea about, because I don't see anybody in the chat, like literally not even one person that said they've even heard of this, but it's pretty big news. And I just wanted to personally vouch for Matt Christiansen insofar as go check his channel out, decide if you like his content or not. And I do not have any reason to believe at all that he was colluding with Russians or that he could be bought by anybody. He's a very independent guy that literally reports on and does videos on whatever he wants. And I don't think anybody, including Russians or Americans or anybody, could persuade this guy to or make him do any kind of propaganda that he didn't want to do. And Ross says, I watch the Matt and Blonde show every Sunday. Yeah, they have a really good show. It's called the Matt and Blonde Show. I've been watching it for years and years. And I want to back Matt Christiansen. Look, his channel's bigger than mine. Not as big as it should be. The dude's sitting at like 235,000 subscribers for the past 3 or 4 years. He's had countless videos removed, strikes. Like, this is a guy that literally says what's on his mind. And I can't prove anything, and I'm not in law enforcement, so there's nothing for me to weigh in on the exact facts of what's going on with this Tenet media, with the allegations of Russian corruption and influence. But first of all, I'm suspicious of anything that the feds are cooking up. And second of all, one more time, I've spent hours, hundreds of hours, listening to his podcast and his videos, talking to him personally, him being a guest on this show, and there's no way that he could be bought for any type of propaganda scheme with the Russians or whatever they're alleging, and we'll see what happens. But these are a lot of big influencers. This involves Tim Pool. This involves Benny Johnson. This involves others. Go look at the long list. We're talking like tens of millions of subscribers combined that were all part of this group, this consortium. Maybe at the end of the day, here's the takeaway. It would not surprise me at all if the feds are just trying to get conservative voices off of the media. And if you're not 100%, pro-Ukraine the exact way that the government wants you to be at all times, even though I've never even heard Matt Christiansen talk about Russia and Ukraine except for in passing, like here and there, but definitely nothing that he's highlighted on his channel that I've ever seen. And I think I've watched like all of his videos for years, right? So, no, something doesn't smell right about it whatsoever. And yeah, I think that there's probably a lot more to this, but I just wanted to conclude with, I think Matt Christiansen's a good dude. I think he's on our side, and I think he's an asset to the freedom movement, patriot movement, 2A movement, liberty movement, whatever you want to call it, because we're talking like a very, very absolutist, staunch pro-Second Amendment supporter. And yeah, you can get money from all kinds of countries all over the world, but apparently not Russia. And there's huge allegations in this indictment. So that's what my joke was about at the beginning. I bought this years ago. It's literally probably worth nothing. I just think it kind of looks cool. And you know what I'm saying? I like little stuff like this. But there you guys go. If you have any more questions on that, I am not an expert, but I suggest you guys look into what's going on with it and suggest that you check out the Matt Christiansen channel. Okay. A lot of crazy stuff going on. And here's the crazy part, too. They literally dropped this indictment the day after Tim Pool announces that he's suing the Kamala Harris. We'll call her Kamala today. Is that fine with you guys? Kamala Harris. Look, she pronounces her name so many different ways. Today, she's like, I'm Kamala. Kamala. I mean, literally, these people don't even know their own name. Don't know where they're at. Don't know what's going on. But, hey. Remember the current former vice president? The Kamala, current former vice president administration, one of the most tyrannical and worst of all time. Don't know where they are. Don't know how to say their own name, but I don't know if that really matters too much anymore. Do you guys really think, and this is a serious question that you don't have to answer in the chat necessarily, but I'd like you to think about it. Shambhala, Mateo just said. See, look, there's so many things they call her. Look, there's many, many, many more things that they call her, but this is a family-friendly show. And I like to keep it that way. So, but they call her so many things. Like, you could make some sailors blush. Some of the things they call her. I mean, she started off on her knees and worked her way all the way to the top, and is still down on her knees. I mean, these are not good people. These are not role models, and I wouldn't let my children anywhere near this Governor AWOL's. Like, there's just something about him, just the way he looks. Just the way he kind of, you know what I'm saying? Fat Gray Man says, coffee fetcher in chief. I agree, especially if you guys use the link in the description for Blackout Coffee. Then we definitely agree, and we won't have to take any money from Russians at all, because you guys can be sponsors of this channel by using it for your normal purchases. But my question was, and I want you to think about this, does anybody think that this election is going to come down to who wins the argument on the merits of all of the issues? Okay, who can basically prove they're right and prove that, you know, they're the best way forward for this country? Do you think it's going to be about that, or is it going to be about procedures? Is it going to be about the way ballots are collected, the way they're counted? Like Stalin said, who votes? Not so much. It's more about who counts the votes, if you know what I mean. Many, many great, strong leaders, as they say, have worded it different ways, but it comes down to, it's all about the counting of. Now, seriously though, in so many states, such as the state of Michigan, we've had our state constitution amended, literally a constitutional amendment. I saw that, Bill Alexander. Look, there's so many names for her, you can't even, go ahead and tell me, what's her name? We'll call her Kamala. But the Michigan Constitution was amended where, like, literally, we used to call it rigged. Now it's completely lawful. Completely lawful. They call it collect. They call it harvest. It's no longer voting day. It's voting week, voting month. I mean, yeah, this is. So what do you guys think? Do you think it's whoever refines and masters the process of literally the way things are tabulated, the way they're collected? Is that who wins elections going forth in this country? Or is it the person that just gets out there and makes a case to the American people and just has the best talking points or the best argument or the best policies? Now, look, some of you might be disillusioned like me, and I haven't really heard that many good talking points, or when it comes to the Second Amendment, I haven't heard anybody with any good policies on the two-way that's made it to the highest level. I mean, I'm just saying, but is that what it's about now? Or is it about saying, Russia, Russia, Russia? I mean, dude, think about it, man. Like, and look, one more time, he's not getting indicted, but this is getting close to home. A buddy of mine, friend of the channel, Matt Christiansen, been on this channel twice. Like, dude, if you could literally write, like, the definition of just a good dude, it would have, like, equal sign his name and a picture of him. He's a family man, a father of 2 very small children, and, like, genuinely just, like, such a nice guy, and just, like, cares about this country. And he's gotten caught up in now, again, no indictments on him, but his name's on the list, or creator number 6, or whatever they technically call him. They use, like, an alias for all this stuff. I don't know, man. What's happening, Red? How you doing, man? Make sure you guys follow him, Band Talk, on X. Me and him talk over there from time to time and check up on each other's posts. Also, check out Nevada Memes for Liberty over on X, who I noticed shared this right before we got going. I mean, you know, guys, have a conversation about this because we need to think about it. I want some good solutions here. And we need to be talking about good solutions to all of this with our friends and with our family. I mean, really, most of the answers you'd ever need were written in Congress July 4th, 1776. I'm going to ask you guys another question. I'm not a liberal. I'm not a progressive. I'm just not. Don't like the Libertarian Party. Don't like the Democrat Party. Don't even like the Republican Party. And I've always called myself a conservative because what else do you call yourself? Like, I don't want to call myself anything. Like, I'm just me, but just to like start conversations and have regular discourse. You know what I mean? Yeah, Nevada Memes for Liberty is a good fella, Red. I agree, man. There's some good people hanging out over there. X is very toxic too, but some good people. But it's like you kind of have to call yourself something. I mean, you don't have to, and I don't want you to label yourself, but, you know, just general conversations. It's like, are you a conservative? Are you a liberal? Are you a neoliberal? Are you a neocon? I don't even know anymore, man. Because, like, the Republican Party is supposed to be for the conservatives, and they've almost nixed the whole Second Amendment. Like, they barely mention. They mention the Second Amendment so little, you can't even see it unless you get your magnifying glass out in their party platform. And here's the problem, man. It's like, I really just vote, and I do. I'm actually one of those people that goes through the actual people on my ballot from the very top all the way down to the bottom. Now, I can't ever meet face-to-face the people at the top of the ballot. You know what I mean? Mateo says, I'm sick and tired. Yeah, man, and I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'll never meet the people at the top of the ballot, of course. But when it gets down to the second half and down, state senator, Joe Bellino, right here on my phone, on speed dial. My favorite state representative, Jamie Thompson, just wished her a happy birthday day before yesterday. Or was that yesterday? The times are going by so quick. Yesterday, I wished her a happy birthday. Been talking to my friend Chris Collins. He's a township trustee. And my friend Kyle Bryant, who's the township clerk. See, I'm Jay Heinzerling. He's my county board of commissioners. He's my commissioner, my county commissioner. Also, other good ones like Dawn Asper. She's a good friend and a great Second Amendment advocate. Greg Moore Jr. See, I'm such a nerd to this. I just named half of my county board of commissioners and township board. So, like, I'm pretty much to the point where it's like, I just want to vote for good people who love the Constitution. I want it to where, like, there's no political party that says this, but, like, I just want the in Congress July 4th, 1776 party. And their platform is reading exactly this. And then the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. The first 10 amendments. See, after the 10th time it was amended, in my opinion, the Constitution itself just kept going downhill thereafter. Now, some people might disagree with me, but wait, 2A EDU. The 13th Amendment, well, look, it made it where everybody now is enslaved or could be enslaved, but really kind of already are because, see, before the amendment that supposedly set all the slaves free, you couldn't put someone in slavery as punishment if they were incarcerated. Now you actually can. Well, combine that with the income tax that came in about 100 years ago. It's a crime to not pay taxes. And then if you get convicted of that crime for not paying, you go to prison where then you can become a slave completely legally. And that's by the amendment that so many people, gosh, am I frustrated? I was lied to my whole life. All the way through grade school, they said, we had an amendment that set the slaves free. Then in college, they repeated it with a little deeper voice because you pay so much money. They said, we had an amendment that set the slaves free. And then you read the whole thing and it's like, no, actually, We didn't have an amendment that set slaves free. We made it where everybody is now a slave. That when you combine it with the income tax and so many other things. And you think of Kamala Harris. See, here's the problem, man. I'm sick and tired of Republicans and Democrats. I can find some good people still in the Republican Party, though. And I haven't found a good one in the Democrat Party in a long, long time. And I am looking, but these people are crazy. And I'm going to show you guys a couple senator Democrats in a minute. But remember, Kamala Harris. Okay. Some call her the current vice president. Some call her many other things. I call her the current junior senator from California because that was her last title I believe she actually earned, if you know what I mean. How she got to be vice president, we'll never know. We can't discuss it too much in detail here. And I think some of you know what I mean. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean, right? When she was attorney general, they caught her in a scheme where she was keeping people. They had served their time. They had served their sentence. And I do believe that bad people who do bad things should go to prison. Make no mistake. I believe there's many victimless crimes where people should not be in prison. I don't believe in the so-called victimless crime, but hey, you murder somebody, that not only violates God's commandments, but that violates all natural law and all religions that I know of and all governments that I know of and many, many other bad things. But you get locked up, you do your time, and they were supposed to be released, but they weren't releasing them. Do you guys know about this? This was in California under the watch of Kamala Harris. And they needed them, though, to work for fighting wildfires. Look, these people are insane. You cut windrows, okay? You purposely clear cut some of the forest so the fire can only burn up to that point. And not a fireman. I don't have a degree in forest management. I guess good thing I don't have degrees because I still have a little bit of intelligence left. The more degrees you get in all this stuff, the more you have no idea what you're doing, apparently. I mean, look at how this government works now. But she was keeping people in. Look, her administration under her watch was keeping people in prison after their release date to get labor from them. Free labor. I mean, they might pay like 30 cents an hour or whatever, but that's slave labor. And we have more slaves in this world today than we did in the 1860s. Isn't that crazy? So that's why when people say, well, hold on to AEDU, you mean the Constitution. This is what I would want the government to be. This is the platform that I get excited about. The platform would be the Declaration of Independence, the words of it and the spirit of it both, as well as the Constitution itself, and then the Bill of Rights, the first 10. After that, to hell with all of it. I'm being serious. And some of my friends, some of my staunch conservative friends come in and they say, hold on a minute. You mean you support the Constitution and all of its amendments? No, actually, I don't. Actually, not so much. But I want you guys to get out and vote, because here's the thing. Voting is not just your right, but it is your duty. And that's what it says in the Declaration of Independence. I'm not trying to blackpill all of you and say don't vote. I talk about this every time, right, Midwest Logger? I know you've been part of these conversations. Look, it's called the primaries. They've come and gone now. I know nobody likes the primaries. It's boring. It's lame. It's whatever. That's why when the Michigan House minority leader, supported gun control and voted for gun control in Michigan last year, I had his primary opponent. Rich Cutshaw was his name. Is his name. I mean, Rich is still his name. He just lost the primary, unfortunately. But he got a lot of votes. I brought on the primary opponent so he could tell you guys what he had to say. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I think a lot of you are smart people. I'm not going to tell you guys exactly what you have to say or think. Give me 1 minute here so I can silence this. All right, sorry guys, I needed to check that. That wasn't my main cell phone. I turned that on before I stream, but that was my business phone, and I'll check that in a little bit. Usually I don't get calls this late, so I didn't think to silence it. But what do you guys think we need? Who's going to stand for the Second Amendment? Do we need to pay more attention to our primaries? Do we need to just pay in and pay more attention and dig in harder to the general elections? Do we need a third party that actually means something? On local levels, you can literally use write-in to get somebody in office. I mean, I know precinct delegates that were write-ins, and them and their family voted for them, and they ended up winning the office of precinct delegate. So let me know what you guys think. But people who are pro-Second Amendment, gun owners, the Second Amendment supporters, defenders, whatever you want to call yourself, people who just want to defend this country and the Bill of Rights and the Constitution need to vote. There's huge swaths of people that fall under conservative, very specifically even Second Amendment supporters and gun owners that just aren't voting anymore. And if we have a government that's supposed to operate at the consent of the governed, and people do nothing, look, the other side's invigorated. The other side's completely and utterly on fire. So they're all going to do what they're going to do. So I suggest you guys get familiar with your candidates and give this ballot a lot of thought. There is a Second Amendment caucus in Congress. I know Thomas Massie used to be the head of it. I'm not sure if he is. I don't think he is anymore. But yeah, I should know that. That shows you how little they're doing press releases in the United States Congress, when I used to know who was leading the House of Representatives. I'm talking on the federal level. Second Amendment caucus, but I don't think he's leading that anymore. Not because Thomas Massie, he's the representative from Kentucky, if you guys are wondering. Probably not because, well, definitely not because he's no longer pro Second Amendment. It's just that stuff comes and goes. You can only be on so many committees. You can only lead so many caucuses. So he probably just needed a break from it, and somebody else took over the reins. So don't mistake what I just said there. I think Thomas Massie used to be the head of the 2A caucus, but I would bet a lot of money it's not because he stopped supporting the Second Amendment, okay? Probably not. All right. I am going to show you guys. Let me pull this up here. Some stuff going on here on X of all places. And I'm going to show you some stuff on the 2A EDU feed just to show you how crazy some of these people are. They're literally nuts. All right. I think we have this up here. I still have my pinned post of me calling out Senator John Cornyn. That's the senior senator from the great state of Texas, and lots of good people from Texas. What's happening, Denny's plant-based journey? I saw you in the chat out of the corner of my eye for a minute there. I know he's from Texas. Look, Senator Cornyn. I don't even think he's up for election this time. I know Cruz is, and Cruz did not vote for this, but this is still me calling him out. I still keep it pinned at the top from 2022. This is the so-called Bipartisan Safer Communities Act that Cornyn and many Republican senators. I keep telling you guys I'm going to do this, but I need to get that list out again so I have it somewhere here. It's filed away. So I can remind you guys of all of these United States senators that voted for the hugest gun control package that did pass, and we're currently living under the draconian ramifications of it. The biggest one that had passed in decades. It's actually kind of funny. We're talking about Matt Christiansen earlier. You can see I had tagged a few people, including at ML Christiansen, which is his handle on Twitter X. But yeah, John Cornyn. The agreement provides schools the resources they need to enhance security and keep our children safe. Well, isn't that interesting? Now, look, I've literally had this pinned for 2 years. And it actually leads me right to where I wanted this conversation to go. So there was a tragedy that happened from someone who is sick, twisted, evil, obviously, in the state of Georgia. Very unfortunate, very sad event that happened involving a firearm. Mass tragedy, really. But they said, though, that if we could just pass this gun control, look, Senator Cornyn said it on June 12th, 2022, the Republican senator. It's one of the most powerful senators in the United States. This agreement will provide schools the resources they need to enhance security and keep our children safe. Now, there was also parts of the bill that restricted the Second Amendment, that were gun control. And here we are, 2 years later, and there's still tragedies happening at schools. And it's just basically kind of become part of life now. And SSRIs are part of life now. And another word, it starts with a letter that's after S. You have to be super careful now about this topic on here. It starts with the letter T. In many cases, we're noticing now. Crazy stuff that had happened in Tennessee now that the diaries have been exposed, right? But they literally said, we'll take this gun control. This is what the Republicans, and of course, every single Democrat said in the United States Congress just 2 years ago. The Republicans said, yeah, but we can get on board with gun control that provides longer waiting periods for people, makes a bunch of people prohibited that are totally nonviolent, should not be prohibited at all from exercising their natural right to keep and bear arms. Look, laws can't take away your right to keep and bear arms, but laws can put infringements under the barrel of a gun and handcuffs and a cell with either, glass or bars blocking you in, right? I think it's mainly just steel with glass now more than bars. But there's bars, right? Put you behind bars. Made it where people, especially people who are under the age of 21, have to jump through more hoops and wait a lot longer time to get a firearm. Many, many things were in this so-called Safer Communities Act. But the senator said in 2022, this agreement will provide schools the resources they need to enhance security, keep our children safe. Now, Michigan passed a series of bills just last year that were supposed to stop any type of what they call gun violence, which is a very misrepresented term because guns don't cause violence. Like, people cause violence, obviously. Guns an inanimate object. It's neither good nor evil. Good people use guns to protect other good people, their country, etc., their state, their home, their hometown, their family, their friends, people at church, school, wherever they're allowed to carry one. Because remember, these gun-free zones are criminal empowerment zones, and these laws only affect the law-abiding. Criminals, by their very nature, they are not following our laws. And then there's no such thing as a bad gun. There's bad people who wield firearms and stones and sticks and hands and feet. It's crazy, but we need to remember this. This is from the FBI statistics, which you have to trust because it's 3 letters and it's part of the United States government, right? Even they admit, I said that with a long wink, you have to trust them, but no, according to their stats, don't trust, I'm just saying. According to their stats, though, more people are killed with hands and feet than these so-called assault rifles that they demonize and want to take away every year. In Michigan, they passed along convoluted packages. These were dozens of bills, pages that were consolidated into 3 main subject matters: the universal background checks, the red flag laws, and the so-called safe storage, making it safe for the criminal, right? Because, like I said, when they come in, cock-locked, ready to rock with whatever firearm they want to carry, because, look, people that are coming into homes looking to do really bad things to people that are looking to commit the crime of murder or mass murder, they don't really care usually at that point about any other law because we've already outlawed murder. We've already outlawed burglary. We've already outlawed all of that stuff. We've outlawed theft, unless, of course, it's the government doing it. Then it's completely illegal, right? And that is where I agree with all my libertarian friends, 100% on that one. Like 110%, guys. We have a lot of stuff in common. It's just that person that the Libertarian Party's put up, and I know a lot of you guys are more frustrated than I am for the presidential bid, not so much, right? Look, when the criminal comes in cocked, locked, ready to rock with whatever they want to carry, you're fumbling through your safe, your gun lock, your whatever, right? But they said if we pass this in Michigan, we won't have any more gun control or gun problems. It'll all be over, right? Even though they just said, yeah, we're just getting started. So you can see some awesome deals, by the way, on here. So in light of this tragedy going on, people are in here in the public discourse talking. Here's one that I posted. So this is a thread by Senator Dana Polahanky. I like to spell it different. People spell it many different ways. Look, I like to say Pol, space, hanky, space, panky. Senator Dana Pol, hanky, panky. Look, this is not a very intelligent person, in my opinion. This is not one of their brightest. And when you say that, look, if you look at the Democrat senators in Michigan, and I say this is probably the lowest aptitude one, that actually says a lot. A lot. Now, this is the irony. This is crazy. So this senator, and this is like one of the most powerful senators in Michigan, says you voted no on universal background checks, red flag law, and child safe storage law. Sit down, is what she said to Representative Jamie Thompson. And she responds, that legislation has prevented 0 tragedies, which is true. You know what ended this one? An armed school resource officer. The same ones you just voted to cut funding for. The Democrats in Michigan in their budget bill. You can't make this up. After putting all of these gun restrictions, gun control in effect, they then voted on a budget that cut the funds for school resource officers. Now, these threads, since I've reposted them, have gone viral. There's like, I think this one now has 50,000 views on it or whatever. You can go follow me on X, follow Representative Jamie Thompson on X, and you can see all this. And when you start reading the replies from these people, it's like literally insane. So I came back because she said, sit down. That's not very polite, is it? This is not a nice person here, in my opinion. Not nice at all. So I came back and said, Jamie, you're the best. The lowbrow senator voted to cut funding for school resource officers. 100% true. Senator Pol, Hanky, Panky, hey, that's what they call her. Some people call her that, is a very nasty person. I give her the benefit of the doubt when I say, quote, person. Way past her prime, and her prime was not so good. Like, it's true. Go look at these people. Oh, did you guys see this? Liz Cheney, here's a real beauty. I said, I agree with what Liz Cheney said in this 2020 tweet. Too bad she doesn't agree with herself and just endorsed a camel face. They call her that too. Look, I say Kamala because she looks like a camel, like the dromedary. You know what I mean? But this is what Liz Cheney said. This is a real winner here. In 2020, and she just endorsed Kamala. She endorsed Kamala. Kamala Harris is a radical liberal who would raise taxes, take away guns and health insurance, and explode the size and power of the federal government. She wants to recreate America in the image of what's happening on the streets of Portland and Seattle. And when she says on the streets, she meant like in 2020 era, during the mostly peaceful protest and complete chaos. We won't give her a chance. And then Liz Cheney just endorsed Kamala Harris. But who really cares about her? She's, yeah, not so much, right? All right, here's another one. This is Senator Darren Camilleri. Now I'm going to read what I tweeted. You still have to say tweeted, right? What do you guys think? Even though it's called X, you can't really say like I axed. I guess you could say I axed. I don't know. That just doesn't really. I'm going to dead name and say I tweeted. Whatever. It doesn't make any sense. Even though I do like it better that it's X now than Twitter, because Twitter was censorship mill. So here's what I said. Darren Karen, that's what some people call him. They call him Darren Karen, is probably the second lowest aptitude Michigan senator. I say second lowest because Paul Hankey is probably the lowest. He has not honored his oath, and people have been saying, this is true, a lot of people have been saying this. People have been saying he was in the vote counting room last election. I do not trust this weak, very weak man. Now, Darren Camilleri, before she was a representative, Thompson's radical political organization raffled off an AR-15 the week after the Uvalde school massacre. Had my vote as soon as I heard about that. Raffling off an AR-15? Yeah, every state representative should be supporting the AR-15, obviously. As a representative, she voted against common sense gun safety legislation. She also voted against the school budget, which included mental health and safety money. No, the school budget actually reduced school resource officers. We were actually watching that as it was passing, which had tons of money to fund gun control in it at like 4, 5, 6, 7 in the morning on this channel. Everything for her is about politics and never about solving problems. So that was him, right? Responding to her response to Paula Hankey. Like I said, these are not, these senators, you should see these people. You see them and you're like, whoa. The Senator Paula Hankey, it's like she's way past her prime, like at least 20 years past her prime. And even in her prime, not so good. When we call these people real beauties, we mean in a totally different type of way. Trust me. So Representative Jamie Thompson comes back and says, Darren, did you read the budget? It cut money for school resource officers while raiding the teacher's pension fund to pay for Whitmer spending. Instead of hiding behind children, how about you urge your colleagues to support the school safety package introduced by Republicans that will actually strengthen our facilities against attacks? Instead, Democrats just made new laws that criminals are ignoring, and we continue to have shootings in Michigan. Now, here's Michigan Open Carry chiming in. And like I said, I'm not a legend of this. I'm not a witness of this for this Senator Darren Camilleri. But I have to speak the truth. I've heard. I definitely have. Michigan Open Carry says he never had his umbilical cord cut. He does what his handlers tell him to do, just a cog in the machine. And from what some of our members have told us in the past, and you're part of the state, there were questions about him being in a canvassing office when they were counting votes. And I just responded back because this is a true statement. I have heard the same thing about him being in the canvassing office. And it's true. I've heard it from a number of people. Avster Bone, shout out to him. He's a Michigan guy who I've hung out with in real life several times. He says, Darren doesn't read anything. Democrat Party leadership tells him when and how to vote with a threat of withholding funding to his community if he doesn't toe the party line. If you read some of this stuff, like some of these people literally are getting so nasty in here, it's like, whoa. Now, here's another good one. A cost-free solution to the school shooting problem is to just do what New Hampshire has done and repeal all gun-free zones. Carry and conceal is fundamentally no different in a supermarket than in a classroom. And here's a tweet that he quoted. New Hampshire is the only state where teachers can carry guns without permission or restrictions. There's never been a school shooting. Just think about that for a minute. They keep passing more and more gun control and keep prescribing more and more medications to people. And these keep happening. They keep happening. In some cases, they go up. You know, it just keeps happening. I would also like to cite a book by Dr. John Lott, who I just saw again in real life down in Tennessee a couple weeks ago. A buddy of mine, and he has a book called More Guns, Less Crime. He's the leading statistician on the Second Amendment and what the other side would call gun violence, right? And of all of the schools that allow teachers and staff to be armed, teachers or staff to be armed, there has never been a school shooting during business hours. Never. We have to say during school hours, rather. During school hours, while there were kids there in the school. And we have to say it that way because this is how perverse the other side is on rigging all the stats. You guys know if it's the middle of summer vacation, right? And a couple gangbangers have a turf war and mow down 6 on one side, 7 on the other side, they would say 13 people killed in school shooting. Like, they literally count that as school shooting. If it's like, it could be, like I said, gang violence during summer vacation. But during school hours, while the children were there to be protected, we definitely need to protect our children, obviously. That's our duty, to protect our children. And that's a very, very basic duty that parents have to protect their own children. And I'm getting sick of the education indoctrination industrial complex too. Telling kids that they even have to go to school, since so much of it's just propaganda. Look, they want to own our children from cradle to grave. They want to start school younger. Michigan's moving in that direction. And they want to keep them there longer after school and want them to keep going to school essentially for the rest of their life. And all I'm seeing by all this focus on state and government education is a bunch of educated fools for the most part. Now, I know some of you have degrees and you're very smart people, but generally speaking, we're just filling this whole country up with a bunch of indoctrinated, brainwashed, educated fools. And it's crazy. And if you consider education to be a big deal, which I'm not saying it isn't, I'm just saying the type of education industrial complex that we have in this country, the United States keeps falling further and further behind many, many other countries throughout the world. Most other countries, we just keep falling behind further and further and further. They're like, oh, I know what'll fix this. We need to educate our kids under this corrupt system even more and more and more. And then so many people send their kids to, not everybody, some people homeschool. But look, there's compulsory education where more or less in different states, it could be a little bit different, but they'll haul the parents off and send them to jail eventually if they just refuse to have their kids educated at all, right? Now, you may be able to homeschool and do other things, go to consortiums, private school. There's different things, religious schools. But if your kid's not getting educated one way or another, then the parents literally are criminally responsible. But they're making it compulsory, where compulsory education, where kids in so many cases have to go to a criminal empowerment zone, where all the law-abiding people willingly disarm themselves at the door, and the criminals know that. And they don't care about a gun-free sign. They don't care about, oh, look at that. This says this has a picture of, it's always a Beretta 92 for whatever reason. I mean, shout out to the Beretta 92, but geez, oh, Pete, it's the same sign, right? The Beretta 92 with the red circle with the line diagonal through it. It's like, I get it. No Beretta 92s allowed. And then the bad bird says, all right, I'll bring my Glock with a switch, I guess, right? I mean, that might be what some of these people think. I have no idea. But no. In all seriousness, they don't care what the sign on the door says. Because all the good law-abiding citizens say, well, I can't bring in, I can't carry, so they'll leave their arsenal at home. Then the bad guy just comes in there uncontested. May as well put a sign up that says fish in a barrel here. I mean, think about this. It's literally crazy. Oh, this person said, where do I go to get one of your yard signs? I actually have let me move over this way. Jamie Thompson for state representative yard sign right behind me. What's up, Patrick 7? Me and him had a little back and forth, posting pictures and retweeting. I was retweeting his pictures of his AK bayonet that he picked up on one of the deals I shared. That was pretty cool, man. So definitely check out Patrick7 over on the X. You can see exactly what we're talking about. Super budget AK bayonets that I was sharing. I can see you guys kind of talking back and forth about some politics stuff. Looks like some President Trump fans in the house. Shout out to all the Trump fans. Wolf says, even someone who doesn't like President Trump should see it as far better beyond words than voting for 4 years. Almost already destruction. Biden and Kamala occurs. Look, I support all of you guys for whoever you're supporting. I hope you guys are getting in the game and thinking about who to vote for, the different reasons to vote. I saw my friend Midwest Logger a little bit before said, focus on down the ballot. If your head's just, you guys have still got a couple months. If your head's just spinning so much when you look at the top of the ballot, and that doesn't just mean president. When we say the top of the ballot, you're talking president, United States Senator, United States Congressman. Start looking down lower in your ballot. And you might just find somebody like State Representative Jamie Thompson right there. Now, if she's literally your state rep, I will vouch for her till the end of time. She's the most pro-Second Amendment. And just everything she does to represent the 28th District. Like, I'm going to say this one more time. Like, a lot of people say this, not just me. But I'm going to put like an exclamation point and say, probably the best like state representative anywhere. I'll vouch for her. I don't know about all of you guys as individual state reps. Some of them kind of just speak platitudes, but then they could go ahead and maybe still vote for a little gun control here and there. Maybe not. So I hope you guys can get invigorated and focus on this stuff, because on the state level, there's more laws that are passed that affect your day-to-day life than on the national level, actually. And when I saw, and I want to keep this channel family friendly, but if you go in there, go to State Representative Thompson's. I think it's called Rep Thompson. Let me just look real quick here. Rep Jamie Thompson's her X handle. Okay. She's gained like 200 followers in the last day or two. I want her to get more followers than me. I've got 703 followers on X. I've got 703. I picked up 0 tonight. She has 646. So let's see if we can get her above 703 as soon as possible. I'd like her to see her with more X followers than me, like by tonight or the end of the weekend. If you guys could help me out with that, let's see if we can get Representative Jamie Thompson at least with more followers than 2AEDU on X. I mean, that's a good starting point. But if you guys go in there, this is a lady that's literally in the closest district in the whole state of Michigan. I'm not joking. I was talking to her husband, who's an awesome friend of mine. Ron, shout out, dude. Like, I know you're a very, very important part of all of this. Way more important than most people even know, but he's kind of the gray man behind the scenes. Like, don't mess with him type of guy, but a really, really nice guy. So me and her husband, Ron, were talking, and I was looking at a list that the Democrats said, right? And he makes good biscuits too, so I've heard. But look, so they say. Now, I was going on a list with him on the phone the other day, and the Democrats were ranking like, this is where we need more money and all this, And I was looking at this. I'm thinking of this Senator Paula Hankey, and I'm like, ooh, 20 years past her prime, and in her prime, not so good. These are not smart people. Darren Camilleri, not smart. Okay. So we're going down, and they're showing like this one's +1 Democrat. This district's +3 Republican. This one's +17 R. This one's +18 Democrat. These are percentage points. We get to the Jamie Thompson, and I can't even remember her opponent's name. Look, it's like all these people. They all remind you of each other. Can't even remember her name. Actually, I do remember her name. I'm just not going to say it right now because I don't want to give her any publicity. But her opponent, we'll call her. This is a real beauty, too, in my opinion. But her opponent, right? Not very smart. Hates the Constitution, in my opinion. But look, it says even. Now, none of these polls, you look through all these polls, nobody's even in the whole state of Michigan except for literally Representative Jamie Thompson, Michigan's 28th district. Go to her website and help her out if you guys can as well. But look, even. So this is a representative, and this is what I'm getting at here. And I want you guys to think about whether you're in the 28th district, you especially need to think about like getting her elected no matter what. That's what I would like to see. But anywhere you're at, look at your state rep, look at your state senator, look at your county board of commissioners, township trustees, city council. Because when we say even, that means she's in the closest race in the whole state of Michigan. Closest race. And what's she doing right now when there's a tragedy that happens at a school in Georgia where all of the laws that passed in Michigan did nothing? John Cornyn and Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham and all these rhino Republicans that passed the so-called Bipartisan Safer Communities Act of 2022, all of that gun control did nothing to stop this. And she's actually out there reminding people of that. And she's using facts. And she's not going to compromise on the Second Amendment. She's extremely smart. She's extremely well-spoken, well-written in this case. Why is it that we have somebody putting themselves out on the line that when you look at all the polls, their district's literally tied? They say this is one of the most vulnerable. Now, I know she's going to win. She better win or else. Geez, that's going to suck. But look, she's going to win. But here's the thing. This is what the Democrats say is the most vulnerable seat in the whole state. And she's out there standing for the Second Amendment right now. And if you go to her X and you look at the threads, like when she makes a post, just nasty people, reprehensible people. And it just kind of opens your eyes up where I like to forget sometimes. Because I do kind of like my little echo chamber, my little fishbowl that we all swim in here. I really do. Like, you guys are awesome. And when I read these chats every week on replay, okay? When I read all these chats on replay, I'm like, dude, like, look at all these awesome people. These people are so smart. These people are hardworking. They love their country. They love their Second Amendment. They're willing to defend their country if or when it's necessary. Dude, like, I love to hang out with these guys because, like, you know, you're safe when you're around all of you. And look, and I start to think to myself, and this is a good thing. And this is why we should focus on positive energy. And we should be hanging out together as much as we possibly can. Just remember that. We can stand together or we can hang separately. That's an old saying because it's so true. That's why it's such an old saying. But I'm like, well, look at here. Nutty 357. He's a good dude. Drain the Swamp. I've met him in real life. He's an awesome dude. He gave me some silver that I still have. I mean, Jane Locke doesn't get much better than Jane. I mean, dude, look at these good people. And sometimes I forget just for a little bit. I try to pretend. And it's okay, guys. It's okay to pretend for a minute. But I'm like, man, this is America. All these good patriotic people who love the Constitution, who love their country, fear God. And then I start reading like responses to very courageous. Look, when they say it's even, when the race is even, they say, and you're out there literally getting ridiculed by two of the most powerful senators in Michigan, I'd say that's courageous. Like, in my opinion, the most courageous representative we have, she's still there just staunchly defending the Second Amendment. And you've got dozens of people. It adds up to hundreds of people. If you guys like to go down these rabbit holes, just being nasty. Nasty, nasty people. And very, very low aptitude people too. Like, these people are not smart. And it just makes you think, oh my gosh, like, we're in trouble. Like, I hope some of these good, smart people that I know are out there voting, making a difference, talking to their friends, family, coworkers, parishioners, people that you see in real life, because we are in a culture war. And the other side's nasty. And in my opinion, the other side hates the United States of America, hates the Constitution, and hates people like me and people like you. And it's good to hang out with good people. And we all, like I said, one more time, we all need to hang out as much as possible together. But sometimes it's kind of it sucks, but it's kind of a good thing. I have to be reminded of it once in a while. Because everywhere I go, everybody I hang out with, it's like awesome people, right? So many good people out there in Michigan and throughout these whole United States. I saw somebody right when this stream started. They said they're from the Palmetto State. That would be the beautiful state of South Carolina. Many, many beautiful, awesome people live there. Many not so good as well. Look, there's not so good people everywhere. We know that, but I know there's really good people throughout this whole country. I don't have the money to travel through the whole country, but I have managed to snake my way through from Michigan down into some of the southern states. Shout out to all the southern boys and girls out there. And man, I meet lots of good people down there. Once in a while, one that's not so much, but for the most part. And then it's like, wow. When it comes to gun control, when it comes to a tragedy happening in a school, here's what's crazy. The more gun control they keep passing, that never, ever, ever, ever stops these school tragedies. And the more they keep defunding good people with guns in these schools, the more these keep happening. And then the more the other side keeps calling for more gun control. You know what I'm saying? No, lots of good people from South Carolina. Look, I don't want you guys to look pretty, but you know what I'm saying? Like, good-looking people in the South. And even if you're not good-looking, you've got a bunch of cool guns, so you're still good by me, right? You know what I mean? Hey, if you're not good-looking, just show me some of your good-looking guns, and we're all good, because I don't really care what a dude looks like anyways, right? So, you know what I'm saying, though. Mostly good-looking people in the South. We will say that. Red, my friend, I think you just said something pretty smart. Very smart, actually. SSRIs and FBI agents on Discord are what's causing these tragedies. I mean that. We are on YouTube, so that's all I have to say about that. See? That's how good of a comment it was. I'm like, I could go off on this for 2 hours. That's all I have to say about that. I know you're laughing right now, Red. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, yeah, Patrick Seven, we talked about that earlier. The devastating thing is there's a very large percentage of firearm owners that don't vote. But I'm pretty sure you all know that. Yeah. It's true. And look, I'm not a tyrant. I'm not going to tell you you have to vote. I'm not going to judge you if you don't, because I'm just not that way. It's a very personal decision. I just want to see some of y'all that are like so disillusioned, you've kind of just checked out on all of it. I try to give you hope when I talk about like what my state representative's doing. When I talk about the awesome cookout and fundraiser we had that was hosted by Monroe County Commissioner Jay Heinzerling. You know what I mean? Because there are some good people on the local level that should be paid attention to. And hey, man, their votes affect your life a lot more than you think. Focus on those. Now, I'm not telling you guys to ignore the top of the ballot. Please don't mistake what I'm saying. I think once in a while people do, and it's probably because I'm not doing a good enough job explaining it. When I say just chill on the top of the ballot if you're too disillusioned and start reading down that ballot. See, when you get further down the ballot, these are people you can actually call. You can actually visit them. And most likely, look, I know half of you guys have people that are like Senator Polanyi and Senator Camilleri, where they don't represent your view of the country at all. I get it. I totally get it. That's where you guys need to work and find somebody who is good within your hometown and see if you guys can work it up and get that person moving up and up in the polls or on the ballot next time or whatever. And I know it sucks. Like, I'm a total realist, guys. When you live in a dark blue area and from the very top to the very bottom of the ballot, it just all sucks. I know that's a terrible thing. I do. I mean, look, the Democrats have taken over almost my whole state. So I don't get it as much as a lot of you do. I'm not even going to pretend that for 1 minute. A lot of you guys are in a much worse situation looking at your ballot than I am. Totally agree. But at the same time, I'm not saying to ignore the top of the ballot. It's just if it's got you dizzy, like right this minute, Spend some time and focus on that state and local government. And then come back in and start really thinking about it, because it's a very important decision. Very, very important decision. You guys are weighing stuff back and forth in your heads. I mean, and right as I was saying that, yeah. The chat's hanging up with me just for a minute here. We said FBI, then the chat hangs up. I mean, yeah, James, the quote, mass shooters really seem to go to gun-free zones. Yeah, you're right. That's why I like to rephrase it. We need to take over some of the language. We should start calling them what they are. These are criminal empowerment zones. This says, come here. You won't be contested. You can get by with whatever you want. That's how I think. That's how I truly think a lot of these look at it. These twisted, evil people. These are evil people. Okay? And there you go. That's the quintessential person I was talking about right here, where I know. Like, don't think I'm naive for 1 minute, guys. And it truly sucks. Like, man, I don't even know what else to tell you other than it sucks. But he says, but Denver, Colorado is a big list to tyranny. A bit list to tyranny. Other cities may have better luck voting out. That's the thing. In some cities, it's just like that right now. I hope it's not the way it's always going to be. I know that's very frustrating. I know that's very frustrating. Do you guys have any answers for that? I don't know. I just know, look, most of us, regardless of what party we're in or not in, or disillusioned by parties, the founding fathers were disillusioned by political parties, actually, if you look and you listen to George Washington's farewell speech and many others. But yeah, I don't know. Do you guys have any ideas or encouragements for people that, look, they live in, we'll go with Denver, Colorado. Many, many fine people live there. It's a big city, so clearly many people that are not so good. But there's reasons people live there. There's reasons people choose to live there, reasons people need to live there. I'm not going to judge that. When they look up and down their whole list of every candidate, and from the top all the way down to the bottom, it's just tyrant, 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 tyrant. It's tough. Look, guys, this is a stat. Now I'm getting political ad things. Look, they listen to these streams. I'm literally getting, like, Kamala Harris stuff on my phone, like, while I'm live. Like, they literally listen to this. And then they sign me up for all kinds of... Dude, this propaganda is getting pretty thick. I do see somebody just bought some coffee using my link, so thank you. Any of you who are into Blackout Coffee, if you use my link, it helps the channel. And there is a huge 20% off coupon that you can use one time, like per account or whatever, when you're logged into their site. If you're not logged in, maybe it doesn't matter. I don't know. Yeah, Nutty 357. Yeah, I agree. Politicians used to be more diplomatic in their campaigns. Nowadays, all they run on is bashing everybody else. Gets worse every year. I know. And that's why I retweeted or re-X'd my state representative, because she's on there just calling out voting records, saying, yeah, and you guys passed all this gun control, and the tragedy still happened. And many have happened since you passed it, and many more will continue. Like, and then she says, but you guys voted to defund school resource officers, school security officers, right? And look, I get in there just because I can, because I'm just a citizen. I'm not in office. I'm not running for anything. And I kind of get in there and bash on some of these ones that are not so good, just because I can, just for the fun of it, really. I mean, I'm not a mean-spirited person, but when you're a senator, hey, you put yourself right up there to all the public scrutiny. And I don't say anything nearly as nasty as the other side says. Like, those people get downright ridiculous. But I'll kind of sit there and, give them a little verbal nudge here and there just to mess with them. That's good, though. I want them to remember the First Amendment, besides just trying to constantly tread on it. Patrick Seven, well, thanks for the kind words, man, and thanks for being a channel supporter. I appreciate you, man. My honest opinion, man, you're doing more than most, and your information is solid, and you're a decent dude. I'm honestly blown away that you're not a million times more popular. Well, thank you. That's very, very nice of you, and I do need kind words sometimes because I get lots of people that are not quite so nice. I can tell you one reason I don't have a lot of subscribers that I'm fairly certain of. I mean, basically 100% certain of. There is a lot of people out there that want to completely separate guns from politics. And because you've seen it, I do all kinds of fabulous gun content. I'm going to be tomorrow night on Locals and Rumble, which are censorship free, where I can touch guns when I'm live. I've probably showed more variants of AKs in the last year than like any content creator I know of. It's just on YouTube, it's really tough. And I don't know, man. It's like I don't like to chew my gum with the wrapper on it. You know what I mean? It's nice to actually be able to show gun content. But here's what happens. You do a gun video and they'll say, came for the guns and left for the politics. But here's the problem, man. I hate politics as much as any of these people do. I truly do. Guns should not be political. The Second Amendment should not be political. Period. End of story. It's not political, not up for debate, not up for vote. Shall not be infringed is very clear. And there should be nothing to debate on or vote on because the supreme law of the land says you can't vote on it. That's what shall not be infringed means, right? But it is political, and it's the most political thing. And I didn't make it this way. And if I could make it all stop, I'd make it all stop. But the other side is making it political, and they have for a very long time now. Since 1934, we can point to, actually before that, since 1968, 1986, 1994. We can just keep going and going and going. 2022, the one that we're living under that just passed 2 years ago. And there's people out there that think they can have one without the other, and I don't want the other, but someone needs to stand up for the Second Amendment. Somebody needs to get on here and talk. So you guys can have a chat where you can all talk. And this isn't just a place for me to talk. Shoot, I could just sit and talk to myself if I wanted to, but I don't talk to myself. But I could pick up the phone and talk to friends. And I was, at the local gun shop and talking to friends about all this same stuff for decades before I started this channel. And I could just do that, but I want to give you guys a place to hang out and talk too. You know what I mean? But no, there's a lot of people came for the guns, left for the politics. Here's another reason why my channel's not bigger. Okay? First of all, I'm sure big tech doesn't like the stuff I say and are probably doing a lot of things to put their thumb on it. I would not doubt that at all. You can't prove that. You can virtually never prove that. But hey, I was 15 minutes late starting my stream tonight, and I'm always a few minutes late. Fashionably late, we call it. Right, Lamy? Lamy's the official security. Shout out to Lamy and the half track that was sponsored by Pillbox Bunker right there. Right, but I always like to be fashionably late, but I was sitting there, and you can ask Mateo. I was talking to him on the phone. Okay, and I'm like, dude, it says there's one person waiting. YouTube was messing with the numbers, and then I think it was Endit came in at the very beginning and was like, dude, I couldn't even get in your chat for 2 minutes. So they were messing with stuff before this stream started. So that's probably part of it. But here's another big part of it, man. It's frustrating for me to be kind of like politically homeless, where certainly haven't found a good Democrat that supports the Second Amendment in a long, long time. And I have a hard time finding many. Republicans that support the Second Amendment. Now, on the state level, I can find a lot more. Okay. And on the local level, I can find a lot more. But on the federal level, I have a hard time finding anybody that sees the eye to eye on the Second Amendment with me. And I'm not afraid to say it. And that's why one of the reasons why my channel is not that big. Colin Sun says, I think most of us hate politics nowadays, but love complaining about it. No, I hear you, man. But look, the Second Amendment should not be political. I know you guys are nodding your heads because it's just true. Shall not be infringed, which is part of the supreme law of the land. But look, when you're a Second Amendment supporter, you're kind of just told by society. And trust me, I've been told by a lot of subscribers on their way out the door. Now, most of them do come back, and welcome back for those of you that have. But they leave, and then they usually come back. But you know what I'm saying. Almost all of them do. And even the ones that won't officially come back and come in the chat, they shadow watch because they still like the channel. Some of them have admitted so themselves. I still like the channel, but I can't subscribe because you don't have a Trump sign behind you, some people will say. You called out Trump on something he did. You called out Senator Cornyn on something he did. Look, I call out these Republicans when they go against the Second Amendment too. So that's a big reason why my channel's not bigger than it is. And plus, I'm busy. I own a very small business, lawn service, power washing, landscaping, outdoor services stuff, and I'm just busy a lot. I can't sit behind the dang computer making videos all day like some people can do, and bless them that they can. That's awesome, but I can't sit there and do videos all day long every day. What's happening, Joe Pichetti, Pillbox Bunker, Harry Gremley, Gort? See, I told you, lots of nice people in the chat. Awesome, man. I like seeing you guys, for real. Yeah. But look, a lot of people get mad at me. You know what I mean? When I'm like, just like tonight, it's pinned right at the top of my Twitter. X, rather. Where I'm calling out Senator John Cornyn from Texas because he voted against the Second Amendment. You know what I mean? And hey, doesn't make you very popular when you're told you must support all Republicans because you're a Second Amendment supporter. And then here's the thing. There's the thing, though. My libertarian viewers, they're not unsubscribing because they actually get it. Look, nobody hates a libertarian more than they hate their own party. I mean, I mean that as a compliment, guys. That's good that you guys contest everything so much. I mean that. I like that a lot. I really do about you guys. I don't identify with the libertarians either, though. On the Second Amendment, I do, like 100%. But when it comes to like that presidential candidate, I can't get behind the current libertarian presidential candidate. I know most of you guys can't either. But yeah, man, like, I don't know. If I was just like, yeah, man, all Republicans are awesome. Like, I spent half this stream talking about an awesome Republican candidate. And her sign's right behind me, right there. Like, there's some good ones out there. Don't get me wrong. But I don't know, man. I'm not really into like the Libertarian Party. I'm not into the Republican Party. Certainly not into the Democrat Party. And look, as far as ripping on Kamala, like I rip on Kamala way more than I do her opponent, like big time, and like rightfully so. But man, the other one, I've talked about that, and some people get mad. They don't like that too much. But here's the kicker, though, guys. Like, look, and I mean that. I am not just saying, you guys that know me, you guys that have been watching these live streams a long time, you guys know me. Those of you who have met me in real life, do you notice much of a difference? Probably not. When I say, like, dude, we've got some Trump supporters in the house, shout out Trump supporters. Like, I mean that. I seriously mean that, like, big time. Like, look, I believe you're all very intelligent people. I know you guys have spent tons of time. I know a lot of you have prayed over this topic. I know a lot of you have, like, made your brain spin till you were silly, and then hopefully go have some fun and go on like one of those cheap fair rides that spins you silly in a good way too. Because don't just focus on the doom and gloom. Don't focus on the doom and gloom. I'm having this stream so we can get out our frustrations and come up with a good plan together. You know what I mean? But here's the thing. When I say like, dude, like we got a Trump supporter in the house, shout out. Like I seriously like, look, I hope he wins for all of you who want him to win. If we have somebody who's a huge Ron Paul supporter in the house, like I hope he wins for you, like on your behalf. You know what I'm getting at? Like I wish all of you guys luck with whoever you're supporting right now, like big time. Like, is there even a party out there like that? See, here's the problem. As soon as you make it a political party, it like just like corrupts everything, right? But if there was a party out there that its platform was just like, I don't even want it to be a party. Let's just say if there were like hither swarms, right, Red? You know what I'm talking about. If there were hither swarms of we the people that just got in and we're like, we're just literally going to vote on anybody who understands this document right here, the Declaration of Independence, and understands it well. And also understands the United States Constitution and its first 10 amendments, the Bill of Rights, and understands it well. And promises, right? Promises to protect it, to defend it. With every bone in their body. Like, that would be like perfect if there was that. We have that. We have tons of you guys that are just like that. But then you get to where you're like, well, there's Senator John Cornyn. Well, there's Senator Lindsey Graham. And I promise you, I truly mean this. Like, awesome people live in Texas in this chat right now. Awesome people live in South Carolina in this chat right now. I know you guys know I'm not judging you for living there because look at my senators. Stabenow and Peters. These are two leftist Marxist Democrats that vote for gun control like completely all of the time. But yeah, that's why I don't have a lot of subscribers, because I'm not like, look, I'm just like on team like every like normal regular person that like just like gets up in the morning and ties their shoes or Velcro, or I guess you don't have to tie them if that's what you're into, or you work, or you're enjoying your retirement because you have worked your butt off and just want to be left alone. That's the team I want to be on, not team red or team blue. You know what I mean? It's not very popular that I don't want to be parts of all those teams. Wow, look at this. There he is, my friend QD with a, wow, I had to stop and look at that twice. There's an extra zero there with a $200 super chat. Wow, man. Single issue voters represent 2A. Now, I promise I have this sitting next to me, like literally sitting next to me here. And I was going to give this away someone tonight. So we're going to give this to Linda to send to UQD. And I'm going to tell you why. Because it literally matches, okay? It literally matches that banner there, which is in bright red. You don't see the red super chat banner very often, guys. But I got this a while ago. And I paid for this with my own money. Because, you know, you go to a fundraiser for a political candidate. And, you know, they'll have T-shirts and stuff. And, you know, I probably could have been like, hey, can I have a T-shirt? Because it's free advertising. And no doubt she was giving them to other community members. But I made a donation to the campaign. So I would pay for this because I wanted to buy it and give it away to somebody. So here's what I have. And it's highly collectible because, well, you can't really buy these anywhere. But this is a Jamie Thompson for state representative shirt. And for those of you that thought I was bluffing, look at the screen right now. Like, especially the upper portion of that super chat bar, it literally matches it like perfectly. And she signed it. She signed it, and I'm the witness that watched her sign it. So that's your certificate of authenticity. And send me a message, QD, if your address has changed, because I've sent you stuff before. Okay. One more time, someone's going to say, hold on, it doesn't. No, that literally like 100%. What do you think, Ron? That matches perfectly right there. I said, I'm going to give this away to somebody tonight because while I would enjoy it, I want to spread good vibes and good culture. And it's not every day that you literally get a signed shirt from the best 2A defending representative like anywhere. But it's not every day that you have a friend named QD either. So we're even. QD's on team retired. See what I mean? No, but you've worked your butt off, man. Me and you have had several conversations that basically lasted all night, right? We've hung out in real life, talked to each other on the phone, and you know, QD's put his time in. Wow, look at this. QD just gifted 10 2A EDU memberships. Well, thanks so much, man. And looks like 10 of you guys can test out some of those new emojis here in the chat. And there's also some extra content right there. You can see some of the you can see some extra content right in the there's now going to be a channel members only page that you guys have access to on YouTube here. And I need to get another channel members video. Do you guys like the little ones I do where I'm like doing a landscaping job and show you a little bit of that? Or do you like it when it's like me and my baby girl, and I'll put her real name in when it's a supporters video with like the snails or her stuff that she's into? I don't know. Let me know, guys. You guys that are channel members, you'll see what I'm talking about. There he is. There's Ron. How you doing, man? He said 100% awesome gesture of support. No, like big time. Wow. And QD, he's pretty low key actually. He's kind of actually like I don't know. Should we call you famous, QD? He kind of is, but he's like super on the down low though. Like at the same time, which I like. There is something nice about that. Man, it's a hard balance, right? It really is. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not like really smart like IQ, but I guess I do go on my intuition. Like if you're not smart, hopefully you have good instincts, right? He says, LOL, your slugs were good. He says, we are good. Like, no, we're good. We already. No, they're snails. I literally have like a springtail culture over there. Are any of you guys into like little aquariums or terrariums or anything like that? Oh boy, what am I getting into here? All of a sudden, this is going to be the comments after this is done. But they'll come back, so don't worry, guys. They'll leave. They'll be, it's 2A EDU. I came for the guns and stayed for the politics. And I'm like, nice, man. That's cool. But I laughed because you said that you have a culture of springtails and that you're working up a bigger population of those to put in. Look, it's called the cleanup crew, right? The isopods, otherwise known as roly-polies, springtails. You put them in your terrarium, and it actually like doesn't stink at all because they literally eat like rotten stuff. So I laughed because you said that you literally made a video. QD calls them slugs. Come on. These are totally snails with a shell. You know what I mean? Oh, see, QD just said it. QD said, look, he said, dude, I came for the politics and I'm still here. Just left because of the springtails and the snails. See? Now he'll be back. He'll be back. Oh, come on now. Don't mention salt. Don't mention. Ooh. Come on, man. Dale says, stayed for the snails. See? See what I mean? Dale's got my back. What's happening, JJ Randy? How you doing, man? Patrick 7. Are you in Milford? Wow, dude. We're like, not where I live, but like by where I work. We're like virtually neighbors. Like, I'm not even joking, dude. Like, I'm a lot closer to Milford than you might think. We're practically neighbors, man. Like, literally. What's happening, Mike McClune? Nice to see you, man. Oh, let's see here. I've talked about quite a bit. I think I even mentioned the Blackout Coffee link that's down in the description, didn't I? I think I did. If I forgot, I can tell you guys there's a 20% off coupon code and a link that you can use that definitely helps the channel. Escargot, Harry Grimley said. I'm going to jump off in just a minute here because time flies when you're having fun. And I did literally have quite a bit of fun tonight. You got to let me know, QD, if your address has changed or not. Because if it hasn't changed, the lovely Linda will be sending this out in the mail for you this week. Do you guys have any more questions? Last minute comments here. I am going to reread through the chat because I know I missed like tons of good stuff. See, Dale says you can find me at Baker's on Sundays. See? So Dale's saying you can find me in Baker's on Sundays. Okay. You've got Patrick Seven who works in Milford. See, we're networking here. Letting each other know where we're at and we can hang out. All right, same address. You don't have to watch it later. It was totally boring, I promise. I totally did not take a current sitting senator, QD, and say, this is Senator Paula Hanky Panky. She's about 20 years past her prime. I didn't say this earlier, trust me. I didn't say she's 20 years past her prime. And when she was in her prime, it was not so good. I didn't say anything like that earlier. Right, James? James is like, he said nothing of the sort. He didn't literally call out the lowest intelligence Michigan senator and the second lowest intelligence Michigan senator. We did nothing of the sorts, right, James? Out of Almont, Michigan. Nice. Aimless mouse. Nice, man. At least you're probably going nowhere fast, right? He's aimless, but yet, like, mouses can scurry. I respect that. I like it. And a 59 Studebaker. Dude, if you put on some weight, QD, you've been, I mean, I know you're strong and stuff, but you need a quadruple XL? Jeez, oh, Pete's. No, it's smaller than that. It's smaller than that. No, it's true. Ask Tom, QD. Ask Tom. Tom Bragaloni. Tom, we didn't say Senator Pohl, look, you can't make this up, though. Here's the thing. I wish I could make this stuff up, guys, but I actually literally can't. You look at her name. Look, how could you possibly write a script where the lowest intelligence, most gun grabbing, and draconian Michigan senator, her name's Paula Hanky? I mean, like, literally, P-O-L-E, Pohl Hanky. And then some people add on Pohl Hanky Panky. We didn't talk about any of that tonight, right, Tom? You'll vouch for me. And I definitely didn't say this is the lowest aptitude. I definitely didn't say that. We were very nice tonight. XXXXL. How many X's is that? Quadruple XL. I told you I'm not that smart, dude. Sorry I missed it. No, her name's like literally Pohl Hanky. Somebody said to me the other day, they're like, dude, where do you like get the scripts and make this stuff up? And I've never tried to be because I'm not, but they're like, dude, you're actually kind of funny sometimes. I'm like, I'm not funny. Here, I'll show you guys this. You don't even make this stuff up. Right, Harry Gremley? Have a good night's sleep. I'm going to show you guys this because this is something you've all been waiting for. You guys want to see the close-up pic? Like, again, I tried to make this up. I couldn't make it up. They're like, 2-way ED, you're kind of funny. I'm like, no. Like, this is for real. This is, okay, so hold on. There's Darren Camilleri. Let's go back over here. Geez, they're all over your feed, clogging it up with a bunch of hatred when you don't want to see them. Now that you're trying to find these people, they're slithering around underneath any rock they can crawl under. Okay. Senator Dana Pohl Hanky. Some people say, we don't say it here because this is a family-friendly channel, but some people say Pohl Hanky Panky. Look at her name here. And she's literally ridiculing. You know what I mean? QD. She's literally, QD is going to own this. These are collectible, actually. But look, she's ridiculing Representative Jamie Thompson because she voted no on universal background checks, red flag laws, and so-called safe storage. Ridicule? Huh. I'm going to go donate to her campaign later on because of that. I'm definitely going to donate more to her campaign as much as I can afford, which isn't much, but okay. So here, look, here's how we spell this. Polehanki. See, I don't write the scripts, guys. You can't make this up. And then now look at here. Okay. Now look. I'm going to encourage you all, don't say not nice things. Don't say not nice things. But, you know, in my opinion, she looks like she's about 20 years past her prime. And even in her prime, not so good. Caucus chair, Michigan State Senate. This is your state senator here. Dana. I'll have to ask her how she pronounces that. Remember Kamala, Camellia, Camel Toe, Camel Face. I mean, they mispronounce their names. I can't remember how to pronounce it, but Dayna Polehanki. Polehanki. I mean, just because somebody out there might have thought, like, dude, why does he keep calling her Polehanki? That's not so nice. Well, I told you guys we're being very, very nice. I don't know what type of name it is. It's just, it is what it is. I mean, no, we're being very polite tonight, actually. Wouldn't you guys say, right, Jane Locke? Of all the things you could say about somebody like that, because trust me, there's a lot of subject matter there, a lot of it. I think tonight I was extremely nice. So many not nice things I could say. Right, Tom? I mean, there's so many things you could say. I think I've been the nicest you could possibly be. Maybe she'll buy me a coffee next time I go to Lansing. Yeah, true. Fat Gray Man, he says, heck, they can't even remember which bathroom to use. Channel member, Gray Man. Yeah, you guys could be less nice. That's right, QD. But I'm always nice. I have to be. They can't even remember what bathroom to use. They can't remember how to say their name. What's happening, Randy Smith? Oh, no, that's Pohutsky. See, Randy Smith? That's Pohutsky. That's another one that, wow. These are just not good-looking people. What's happening, Fluffy 10mm Jeep guy? Dude, we're talking about these wonderful beauties. If you want to see a picture of the Senator Polehanki, you can rewind like 2 minutes. You know what I mean? What's happening, Iron Horseman? Nice to see you, man. He says maybe someone left a hyphen out somewhere. I would say quite possibly. More than likely, yeah. No, the one Randy Smith's talking about, the one that gets up there with the gavel all night. She's wearing a brown burlap bag one day. You know what I mean? Yeah. Rick, what's happening? Rick's a smart man that knows that they both live in Livonia with the... No, that is true. I mean, there's good people that live in Livonia too. We hate to say this because here's the problem. I'll leave it at this. Every time I try to think of a name for some of these people, and I say, nope, we don't call them low aptitude. But then I feel terrible afterwards. My conscience gets to me when I call Senator Polehanki low aptitude, because that's actually like a big slight to the word low. Like, I just hurt Low's feelings, and Low is going to have like a confidence problem now. So I feel bad. I feel bad because, you know what I mean? I feel bad because anytime you could think of any kind of pejorative, and look, we wouldn't do this to just regular people. You guys don't hear me talk about regular people, but hey, these are senators. These are people right now who deserve the highest level of scrutiny because they're ruining our state. And they're making our children less safe. And the less safe they make this state, in my opinion, the more tragedies that we're going to see. So not only do they deserve to have the First Amendment protected right used to call them out, but they ran for it. These people literally run for office to do this. And when you want to run for office and your name's Paula Hanky Panky, I mean, hey, I'm sorry, but these people want to look all vain. I mean, she put 15 pounds of makeup on for her picture. If she doesn't look that good, I mean, hey, it's not my problem they don't look that good. People like me and you, we might not look good, but at least we don't put on 35 pounds of makeup and try to take away everybody's guns. You know what I mean? All right, QD is going to leave us on a good note. He says, oh, well, nothing but love. Night dudes and dudettes, and I agree, guys. As much as you think I'm being mean to these people, I'm actually not. I'm being super, super nice and giving them way more benefit of the doubt than they ever deserve. So, yeah, tonight was a fun stream. And we were in a good mood. And I hope all of you guys enjoyed the night. And, yeah. I saw you message me or replied, I think it's called technically. Rudd says, I had Venezuelans try to wash my windshield twice today in a city that has Venezuelan gangs taking over buildings. Okay, you left me a little bit similar one where you were watching them. What were they, hijacking someone or robbing them while you were in? Yeah, that's crazy, dude. That's crazy, man. Be safe, though, for real. And by the way, that video I put about Chicago, the police did show up, and they're admitting they showed up like 4 hours later, and they were gone, quote unquote. So, yeah, you can trust the Chicago police with their 4-hour response time. Or maybe, quite maybe, they are taking over Chicago as well. You're right, Rick. Rick Dosbush, you can put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig. Hey, look, they vote for gun control. You know what I mean? What's happening, Jane? Well, hopefully your day gets better, and if you shared what happened in the chat, I will read it later, and I hope you're hopefully tomorrow's a better day, and whatever you're working through works itself out. Good night, Bill Alexander. Thanks, man. I appreciate you, and take it easy. Vince Metzger, what's happening, dude? Nice to see you. Good night, James. Good night, Gray Man. Patrick 7, you're welcome, man. Take it easy, and God bless you as well. And look, guys, if you miss me, not saying you do, but make sure you're following me over on Locals, and it's that green site that's the link's in the description. It rhymes with fumble. YouTube doesn't like it much, but that's why we're over there doing a bunch of extra content. Collinson, nice to see you, dude. I hope you're doing good. When seconds count, the police will be there in hours. That's unsatisfactory. I know. That's why we carry a gun. And I hope you're all safe wherever you're at, even in very dangerous places. Ray Kelly, sanctuary cities protect criminals from across the ocean. I agree. Be safe, Ray. Be safe, Red. Yeah, man, bless you too. And we'll see you around. My friend Red, he's a good one, man. I've always liked that guy. Even one time when I was mad at him, right, Red? I got mad at him once, and I still actually liked him even then. I'm actually being dead serious. Even when I got mad at him, I liked that guy. Jane says, I don't wear hardly any makeup, and I don't need to. I'm not scary looking like the Dem broads are. Oh, yeah. Like I've said, dude, like some of these people you see, these different senators and stuff, not so much. You should see the women that hang out in this chat. Don't look too long. Be polite, right, Jane? Be polite, but, oh, yeah. Lots of good-looking women in the two-way world. All right, guys, I'm going to jump off because I have to cut down, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 trees tomorrow and mow a lawn, and you know what I'm saying. So, yeah. I still liked you, though, Red, and I still do. Please believe me on that. I was being serious at the time. You know what I'm saying, Red? But it's all good. And I still liked you the whole time. I promise. No, for real, Fluffy. Be safe, man, in Michigan. And oh, come on, dude. Wow, thank you, QD. I guess I don't need to. I guess I can revoke my endorsement from Mikhail Kalashnikov with the brass plated steel. I wanted to come on here and be funny, guys, and be like, look, this is real gold, I promise. But then one of you would challenge me and be like, dude, you have to bite it to prove it's gold. It's totally like fake brass, electroplated steel. But thanks to QD, we can now actually just disavow all of our Russian sponsorships. And thank you so much, QD, who just left a $100 super chat and gifted like probably 1,000 or 2,000 channel memberships in the past year. And earlier tonight, thank you. I really appreciate it, dude. So much. Kamobi, thank you for being here. Have a good one, man. Go to bed. I know I'm going to bed. And Tom, yeah, hopefully I will see you around town as well. Allegedly. Yeah, QD or somebody. We won't get into all the conspiracy theories. It's too late. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. And have a good one.